When you are a visionary, you see things others don't. It's a beautiful, incredible gift. Your ideas, the sparks you have, the way you can spearhead a movement, you can rally people around something meaningful, the way you want to change culture, you want to change the world, all of these things, your beautiful passion for what you do and your mission and its expansion, not settling for where things are, but wanting to continue to make things better for everyone who connects with your mission, but also future generations. Those are all amazing things, and we need that. But that passion alone can't sustain it.
Overwhelm, reaction mode, and just keeping up are the old way.
You need real, root-level strategies and practical steps to grow your business or ministry without exhaustion and burnout.
Hi there, we're Anna Saucier
And Megan Gephardt,
best friends and business consultants who help faith-filled women create sustainable growth through simple strategy with a people-first approach.
Here at Apostolic Fruit, we hope to offer you clarity, support, accompaniment, and healing.
One tiny step at a time.
Are you a visionary, founder, business owner, or leader who's feeling like you're hitting a wall? You are not alone, my friend. This is Megan Gephardt, and excited to have you back at the Apostolic Fruit podcast. Today, we're going to talk about some of the real reasons why you may feel overwhelmed, stretched thin, or kind of stuck in a swirl of too many ideas and not enough traction, or just not enough of you to actually implement all of the ideas that you feel overloaded with. And the good news is this is not because you're failing. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's because you're not meant to carry the full weight of implementation alone. If you are a visionary leader and that's how God has created you, then you likely need integration to match that vision. And so we are going to walk through today how to recognize if you're at the kind of pivotal growth point where you need an integrator to support. If this is the right next move for your stage, we're going to talk about this. We're going to give you a good sense of the main signs and symptoms to look for when you're feeling the weight of the vision, when it feels too heavy, and when it might need to bring in some integration support to keep growing and thriving. Because this kind of operational support, and there's many levels of it, and we're going to talk about that, it could be the missing key for you unlocking more sustainable growth. So if you're exhausted by trying to lead everything yourself, or wearing so many hats, and this is pretty much every one of the clients that I serve are in this boat. I hope that this episode is both unshaming and gives you more of a language and clarity for what's going on and why it's not your fault, but also some good direction, some good next steps, and some hope for what could be possible with the right support structure around your mission, especially if you're at a very critical growth and scaling point. So I first want to frame this in talking about several different business seasons. I recently started to talk about these in terms of 4 different stages. So first stage, you could think about as an early stage. Let's call it planting, to use the garden and fruit kind of analogy here. So planting, this is early stage. You're doing most things yourself. You may still be clarifying your offers, your structure, your business model, who your ideal clients are. Systems kind of feel scattered or just non-existent. So this is like a seedling, like the business is in early stages. The second season, and this is where a lot of our clients start to come to us, you're growing. You've got real traction. You've got demand increasing. You're feeling capacity strain. You're just juggling a lot of roles and doing all the things inside the business. And you're recognizing, you know what? I probably need some help. I've got some systems in place, but they're not consistent or it's hard to keep up with them myself. Growth is happening, but sometimes it also feels overwhelming because it means more to keep up with, right? And you need support to stabilize and to scale. The next stage, stage 3, the third business season, is more maturing. So this is where you've got established growth. You probably have a team in place at this point. Things work, but maybe not smoothly or maybe not sustainably. You're noticing there's strain, there's possibly confusion or breakdowns or tension, these friction points that indicate a need for some sort of restructuring or just optimizing. You may be looking into more advanced hiring needs with more leadership roles, more of a manager role, more of a director level role, or just specialized roles within the business to fill certain gaps. And then the fourth business season is more of a multiplying season. You're scaling with a lot more complexity at this point. You're overseeing a growing team or just multi-layered structure. You've got multiple revenue streams or a lot more complexity in offers and initiatives and projects that are ongoing or programs that you're managing. You're architecting a whole operational backbone. You're planning long-term scaling, and you need strategic level hiring. Maybe you are looking 3 to 5 years in your planning. You are really facing leadership capacity constraints, maybe team structure questions, and just those questions of how to do this more sustainably when there's a lot of complexity you're managing. So just wanted to start by framing those different seasons. If you are anywhere beyond the planting, initial seedling stage, you're in the growth stage or maturing or multiplying stage, then you need integration inside the business. That can look in a lot of different ways. But let's talk about what it looks and feels like and kind of talk about the problem and the signs that you may be experiencing that are indicators that you likely need integration support in some way, shape, or form. So, common signs, you may be feeling like I am hitting capacity and I'm overloaded. Your plate is beyond full. You feel stuck in the weeds of the day-to-day tasks. You've got momentum, but it also kind of gets stalled even though you're doing a lot. Or you're terrified to take your foot off the gas because that's what's keeping the momentum going. And there's no room to even slow down because you're just trying to keep up with everything, right? Either way, though, things are slipping through the cracks. You're noticing that it's causing stress, or there are constant pivots and it's draining everyone's energy because it doesn't feel like there's stability. The second main sign or symptom that you may be a visionary who's operating at or past capacity is decision fatigue and loneliness in leadership. This is real. Decision fatigue is very real. And if you're a visionary, you probably are drained by details, by the planning, the decision-making, all of the admin. And it can be lonely and exhausting to be the only problem solver or the main problem solver and the one that everyone looks to for what's next. When everything bottlenecks in your inbox or at your desk or just in your text message thread or your Slack channel or wherever you are communicating, it can feel like you're suffocating and you rarely have any space to even think or rest, right? Everyone is looking to you for the next step or just to know what to do, but you're wishing that everyone would take more initiative. If you're seeing and feeling these things too, again, just want you to know that you're not alone. And this is not an indicator that something's wrong with you. It is simply a sign that there are structural things that need tending to at the root. These are very, very common patterns. So the third one that we see is a lack of systems and structure. So everything is either living in your head or you wish that people would see what you see. It's very, very hard to take the time to zoom out and strategize as you feel like you're fighting fires instead of really proactively leading. Your priorities are probably constantly shifting or just trying to figure them out on a day-to-day basis or a week-by-week basis. And then lastly, you've got more of a visionary brain. There's strengths and there's strains that come with that. You may notice, I am an idea generator, man. I've got all the ideas and not enough time to actually keep up with all of them, right? Or to implement them. More ideas than I can even count. You love speaking, teaching, mentoring, connecting with other people, collaborating. You love creating and being in that bigger picture visionary leadership. But maybe the admin, the details, the tech, the planning, all the implementation, they drain you or they fizzle you out, or you notice that burns you out a lot more quickly. So this is all very normal. And visionary strengths create a lot of incredible forward momentum. But the problem is without the right structure, they can create these challenges of either overcommitting, an unsustainable pace, or plans that can start really strong, but then fizzle out very quickly. So what do you need if you've got a massive vision? You need operational legs. When you are a visionary, you see things others don't. It's a beautiful, incredible gift. Your ideas, the sparks you have, the way you can spearhead a movement, you can rally people around something meaningful, the way you want to change culture. you want to change the world, all of these things, your beautiful passion for what you do and your mission and its expansion, not settling for where things are, but wanting to continue to make things better for everyone who connects with your mission, but also future generations. Those are all amazing things, and we need that. But that passion alone can't sustain it. What we need to be able to sustain it is the operational foundations, the legs, the engine, the stuff that stabilizes the growth and the growing organization at the same time, right? And so you may be at a point where what got you here to this stage of growth won't get you farther. And so the invitation is to recognize when your organization or your business is hitting this point of expansion and when your leadership needs to shift too, and when the structure needs to shift too. And when it's time to also recognize, I need to stop trying to squeeze myself into ways I wasn't designed to operate. So your necessary counterpart in these moments becomes an integrator. And most visionaries don't realize they're missing this kind of partner that can make scaling possible. This is your steady, strategic, detail-attuned presence who understands your vision, who gets it, who gets you, who sees that bigger picture with you, but also sees the details, who can connect the dots across the entire organization. And this kind of a person, this integrator, is meant to free you to do what you do best and help translate that vision into reality. Because an integrator who is also driven to see that mission through with you can bring focus, alignment, momentum, clarity, efficiency, and actually help move the needle forward and bridge that gap between your vision and your reality. They'll create rhythm and predictability. They'll bring accountability. They'll shield your team from whiplash that can come when direction gets shifted often. And if you're a true visionary, you need the freedom to live in your zone of genius, to operate there. And that's where an integrator can really complement your role and lighten the load you're carrying and create and maintain more of that structure beneath you. And this is what integrators are wired to do. So while you're wired to do the idea generation, the connection, the speaking, the engagement, the higher level of dreaming about where we're going and why it matters and bringing people along, the integrator is meant to see that through and elevate you in your role. So let's now talk about the multiple ways you can bring in this kind of support. There is a lot of confusion around operational roles, especially in the online business world, because the problem is there's no consistent terms or kind of scope definitions or job descriptions used across the board. It varies pretty widely. But I want to give you a good, solid understanding and overview of some different levels of integrators that you can bring in to your team, depending on that stage of your business that you're in. So it depends on your needs, depends on your capacity, your budget, your stage of growth, right? This can come in different forms. Often the first right hire, if you're used to being a solopreneur and you're like, you know what, I'm growing, I'm hitting the capacity walls. I know there's more room for growth, but I am maxed out. I need to get some of this admin stuff off my plate. If time is your biggest barrier and growth blocker right now, and you're like, you know what, a lot of the admin and day-to-day maintenance is consuming my time, and I know that I can't sustain the business and grow it at the same time. I just need more help here. That's not a failure. That's just a stage of growth that is implying you just need to bring in some support to take some things off your plate so you can do what you do best, free up more time there, right? So if you are noticing that is where you're at, you've got clear, repeatable tasks, you know what you want to take off your plate, you're craving relief, then a virtual assistant might be a great fit for you as a first hire, right? And there can be variations of that, but that can be a good starting point. The next season, where you're in more of the growth and possibly the scaling stage, where you're like, we've outgrown our scrappy systems season. Now this is more of a manager kind of a role. So this could be a operations. You could start with an operations assistant or coordinator role, and then progressing into more of a management kind of a role. So we start with more of the assistant level, which is more of a entry-level implementation focused. This could be an intern level kind of a role. They don't need that much experience. You can train them, but what matters is their drive to do good work, their willingness to learn, their curiosity. So if you need that hands-on support with admin or logistics or repeatable tasks, you're not yet ready for somebody who can be more of in a management or leadership role, or that kind of a level of a higher in skill set or in their price point, then an assistant could be a good entry-level point for you. And then we progress into more of an operations coordinator role. So this is still implementation focused, but they start to take on more leadership responsibility. They can steward processes more, support operational follow-through, and in addition to that, task execution. So coordinators tend to have a bit more experience. They're familiar with your business model, your industry, and they can help you execute the plan. Then when you recognize, you know what, I need more coordination within the business. I'm ready to delegate some more decision-making. I've got more complexity I'm managing, projects, programs, launches. I've got systems and workflows that exist, even if they're not yet working really well or they need to be refined. They need coordination. They need somebody to steward it. And your revenue can support a higher level of support. This is where you start to get into the space of operations management. You may see this also termed as an online business manager. So if there's somebody who can help manage more of the day-to-day operations, coordinate projects, communicate with the team, create basic systems and documentation and standard operating procedures or SOPs that keep things moving forward. They are great project managers. They can do implementation, but they've mastered task completion and they have developed some leadership capacity and are really there to help keep things on track. So this is a good fit for founders who you still want to be close to the work, but you need somebody to start running operations, to build and steward those systems for you, to create more stability in the day-to-day so you can step more fully into your zone of genius. And then if you are in a more advanced stage, you've got a lot more complexity, you're at a place of scaling, you need more strategic level support and decision-making support, or you want somebody who can be more of a strategic partner for you. You've got more of an organizational complexity, not just a tactical complexity in the immediate things, but you've got a bigger level of complexity and you want somebody who can help steward this mission that is growing bigger than you, and you know you need more of a team that also needs to be managed, then this is where a director of operations can come in. So this is one who supports the leadership, who makes decisions, who can manage the team structure and performance and roles and ensure the alignment across people, projects, processes, planning. So they really help oversee those different functions and are straddling that vision and strategy and management with you. So it's freeing you up from more of the management role of people, and they can step into that space, right? So this is where your business or your organization is at a level where it needs to increase the scalability and sustainability. And with any of these roles or all of these roles, including a director of operations, it could start with a fractional or a part-time role. So a director of operations, I'm trained and certified to be a director of operations, and I've done this fractionally in other people's businesses. And so this is a place where you can bring somebody in a retainer relationship or based on specific deliverables, or this is what I want to accomplish in my business. Like, let's figure out a roadmap of how to get from point A to point B, right? That's what we do. And there's a level of complexity there that this person can really help you bring and kind of wrangle, I guess you could say, within your organization. And then this is the level that is directly short of a COO, a chief operations officer, right? Who is the primary visionary for the way a company operates. So the COO is the one that is really casting an operational vision. They are creating a high-level strategy. They're building the processes that the team is going to execute across the whole entire organization. And often when you need a COO, you've got several departments that are being overseen. You've got different functions. You've got different leaders and managers, and you need somebody who's second in command to the CEO, right? So this is best for organizations that have multiple departments. You've got a whole leadership team, or you've got a C-suite. You've got the need for kind of enterprise level operational strategy and oversight. And that's just beyond the scope of what the CEO is able to steward. And you need somebody that's even more advanced than a director of operations. So these are really helpful just to kind of frame, again, there's lots of ways you can get integration support within your business. And depending on what stage you're in of your growth and development and maturity, then you can determine what you might need. And my hope is that walking through this, one, you can recognize that, okay, if you're feeling stretched thin and overwhelmed by trying to break into that next phase of growth and you're hitting those thresholds, and you're like, you know what, I'm trying really hard and I am not breaking through, or I'm just recognizing things feel more chaotic than I'd like them to be, or heavier than I'd like them to be, or all of our work is running us into the ground, but we're not getting the next level results that we're looking for. What if it's just that you need more support, or you're not meant to wear so many hats? The right kind of support and structure can allow your vision to move forward and for you to thrive even more in your role. And so you may be doing things you're not wired to do naturally. And again, it's not a flaw, it's not a failure. It's just simply an invitation to explore, what has God designed me to do? Like, what are my strengths? And how does He want me to open up more receptivity to being supported in other ways? You are not meant to lead alone. And whether you are a solopreneur or whether you are a founder who's got a whole entire team in a complex organization, you're managing many departments, and you've been going at this for 20 plus years, you're not meant to lead alone. It doesn't matter what stage you're in, you're not meant to do this alone. And the enemy probably wants you to feel alone or like you are meant to do this alone. But that's a lie. And so I really want to invite you to explore that. Explore, is it possible that in this next season, an integrator or some kind of integration support can help me bridge the gaps that I'm seeing and feeling? In every stage, there are growing pains. That is normal. That is part of the process. So it's up to you as the leader to always be pausing and evaluating and asking, where are we going? Where is God calling me? And what do we need? What do I need? What does the organization need? What does the business need? What do my people need that I'm serving? And when you open yourself up to more support, I promise you that can be mutually beneficial for the people that you are serving. How can they be even more deeply served and supported themselves when you lean in to more support yourself, right? So the way forward isn't for you to just do more or work harder or try harder. It might just be to do this a little bit differently. And finally, the last way of doing this is my favorite way of working with clients, which is as an operational strategist. So this is more of a consulting role where you get an outside partner who is able to look at the business as a whole with you, both the big picture and all the micro details and your experience in it, and ask a lot of good questions, diagnose what's going on at the root and the issues that you're experiencing, the challenges, identify the gaps, help you clarify priorities, figure out the strategies that are going to bring you closer to where you want to go, give you clarity, direction, and then help you with creating the sustainable systems and just the problem-solving aspects of all of that, right? And understanding what's working and what's not, and looking at that with clear eyes. So we can help you build that infrastructure that supports healthy scaling and serving as more of a strategic sounding board. So this is beneficial because it doesn't require you to have somebody that joins the team as a permanent hire. And so for someone who needs external eyes, who needs renewed clarity, who needs a sustainable roadmap, who needs strategic recommendations and good solid guidance, and likely before even hiring, ongoing operational support or operational leadership or an integrator to come in, this is where the strategy support can be a perfect fit. And so that role as an outside partner and a consultant can protect you then from trying to build the plane while flying it, essentially, right? Like figuring it out as you go. Because the truth is, if you don't know where you're going, even bringing more support in is not going to resolve it. You're still going to be reactive. You're not going to even know what good guidance to give them. You're going to be stuck in assigning tasks day to day rather than actually giving them ownership so that they can take initiative. Because in order for them to take initiative, they have to know the direction that the organization is moving in, right? And the goals and the objectives and what you're aiming for and where you're going when, and all that has to be defined. So if you don't have that big picture strategy, or you're flying by the seat of your pants, you're operating without a plan in the first place, it doesn't necessarily bring a lot of relief to bring somebody in who can just take one task at a time off your plate. So that's where we have to make sure we know where we're going in the first place and why. So every visionary eventually reaches a point in any of these seasons or stages where the work becomes too big or the plate becomes too big, things become too complex, or just too heavy to keep carrying alone. And that's a sign of growth. It's not a flaw or a failure. And so I want to give you permission and encourage you to give yourself permission to dream, to say what level of integrator support matches the season I'm in and what I need right now. Dream about how you can be more supported, because it is critical that we dream in order to be able to thrive, and you are worthy of being supported. So something inside you is, I feel this deep in my soul. I can feel like I'm exhaling more. Just hearing this, I am feeling like my shoulders are dropping, just being seen in where I'm at right now and what I need. And that's a beautiful and important awareness. And it may be the Holy Spirit revealing the next right step for you. So reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what you need. Let's help you get clarity on that. And let's see if we can meet you right there, help you get from where you are to where you want to go.
We hope you loved today's episode. If so, would you take a moment to share it with a friend?
If you haven't already, come connect with us human to human at apostolicfruit.com/connect. When you're ready, we'd love to support you more deeply.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you,
And turn his face toward you and give you peace.